There's so many facets to this Hollywood shit, man. Just when you think you have it dialed in, there's something else that comes around. And it just fucking throws your whole shit off. It's difficult. It's long. Like, I've been doing this shit for 26 years. Finally getting a shot. But it was like my wife and I were laying in bed. We were watching one of those shows, like one of those Behind the Music or E! True Hollywood Stories. We watched like 4 of them back to back, and my wife hit pause after the 4th one. She was like, holy shit, I figured out the key to success. And I'm like, what is it? And she was like, tragedy. And I'm like, what? And she was like, every one of those episodes we just watched had an element of tragedy that befell the celebrity in question. And that's where celebrity happens. You can either throw in the towel in the face of adversity, or you can use that tragedy as fuel to propel you to the next level. And I was thinking about it. I was like, holy shit, you're right. And she was like, you're right. And she was like, yeah, and you've never had any tragedy in your life. And I started thinking about it. I was like, holy fuck, you're right. I haven't had any tragedy. And so I started looking around at all the people that surround me and wondering who I'm willing to let go of to make this shit happen. And then 2 years ago, it happened. Be careful what you ask for, because it happened. 2 years ago, I went to Washington, D.C. to celebrate Thanksgiving with my family, where I'm from originally. And it gets hard for me to talk about it. I went back there, and the night before Thanksgiving, I went out drinking with my best friends that I grew up with, and I saw my grandma's titties that night, and really, guys? Really? You're just gonna laugh in my face when I'm trying to open up to you? I don't know if you've ever seen your grandma's titties, but that's some tragic shit. Like, I'm ready to make it in Hollywood now. Like, I don't know if you've ever... Have you ever seen your grandma's titties? They're fucking horrendous. My grandma's titties look like 2 horse noses. They're all long and veiny, and one's longer than the other, so it looks like a photo finish. Big brown by a nose. They're awful. This is how it happened. Old people get up early as shit for nothing. There's no reason for old people to get up as early as they do. I'm sneaking into my grandparents' house at 2:30 in the morning, stumbling drunk. I'm trying to get in the house as quiet as possible to evade detection. I open the front door. My grandmother's standing there. We're face to face, scared the shit out of each other. And I was the... My grandmother's very hunchback. It's got to be hollow because it was very deep and resonant. I was coming from back there. I'm like, Grandma, why are you out of bed at 2:30 in the morning?
I heard noise on the front porch. I thought it was the newspaper.
At 2:30 in the morning, the shit ain't even printed yet. Go back to sleep. But she won't, because when you're 93, sleep is the cousin of death. So once she's up, she's up. All her friends that died in their sleep, so she ain't risking it. She has a coffee IV just shuffling around the house, mainlining Folgers straight to the vein.
I got so much caffeine in my system, I can't even blink. I can't die if I can't close my eyes. Come on, Grim Reaper, I got something for you, baby.
So she's up, and all I want to do is just lay down. I'm like a 4-year-old. I'm just like, I want to just go lay down. Stop standing in the doorway and let me pass. She just wants to ask me a bunch of questions.
Who were you hanging out with tonight? Who was there? Were there a lot of fine young ladies in the house? What were you drinking tonight? Who was on the wheels of steel?
You're going to wait till 2:30 in the morning when I'm shit-faced to start trying to relate to me? So I just had to turn the tables and start asking her a bunch of fucked up questions to make her leave me alone. Grandma, how did you let your back get higher than your head? I just wanted to lay down, and she's trying to... Why am I able to see your back in your driver's license picture? Why does it perpetually look like someone's standing behind you? And probably the most fucked up question I asked, well, what are we supposed to do at the funeral when you won't lay down in the casket? I'll be telling the funeral director, we don't need the pillow. We're saving that $25. Take that pillow out of the fucking... She hasn't touched the pillow in 17 years. They're gonna be like, we're gonna have to comb her wig to the back and put her arm up on the side. We can't close the casket right now. Just make it look like she's in a convertible. Like she's in a tub. All I want to do is just lay down. I'm the type of drunk that I just want to kick my shoes off and fall face first into the pillow and just knock out. And that's where I am. I kick my shoes off, I fall into the pillow, and I'm about to pass out, and everybody's been there where you're in that little ethereal state of being half awake and half asleep, and you hear something that startles you awake, but you can't tell if you really heard it or dreamt that you heard it. Isn't that the scariest shit in the world? Especially when you're home alone and the house is locked up tight. You're passing out, almost asleep, and then you hear something. Oh, shit. Is there someone in my house? Now, if you're in your living room and you fall asleep on the couch and you hear a noise in the living room, it wakes you up and you're like, what the fuck was that? You might like sneak into the other room and grab a baseball bat or a knife or something and you're like, what the fuck? Is someone in my house? But something about being asleep in bed makes you lazy as shit. And this is for your own safety. You won't even get out of bed. You just start greeting the potential murderer. You hear a noise like, hello? Hello? Has that ever stopped a murder from happening? Like the murderer's coming through the house with a knife and he hears a, hello? Yeah? I was gonna stab the shit out of you, but I'm a sucker for a warm salutation. That greeting was warm as hell. So anyway, that's where I am. I'm passing out. And I hear this shit I've never heard before. If you've ever spent the night with old people, you know they gotta get rid of this phlegm. They gotta hack up these chest clams. They gotta get rid of them. These throat oysters gotta get out. After a night of Jaeger bombs, not the best time to hear this for the first time. I'm passing out, I'm half asleep, and all of a sudden I hear. I'm so disoriented, it's pitch black in the room, I'm still doing this. What the fuck is that? A Native American? It's like, oh shit, okay, I must be tripping, wow. So I put my head back on the pillow, as soon as my head hit the pillow, it started right back up. I'm all the way awake now. I'm under the covers like a biatch. What the fuck is that? After like 4 or 5 minutes of nothing happening, my fear started turning into anger, and now I'm getting mad. Who the fuck is watching Jurassic Park at 2:47 in the morning? Turn it down! I kick the covers off, stumble out into the living room to turn the TV down, if not off. And when I get out to the living room, the TV's already off. And that scared the shit out of me. That told me whatever's making those noises is in the fucking house. And like I said, I'm half black and half white at that point. My two halves completely separated. The black half of me wanted to get the fuck out of the house immediately. The white half had the insatiable urge to investigate. And the white half won. I'm inching my way down the hallway towards the only light on in the house that's coming out of the bathroom. Whatever it is, it's in that fucking bathroom. I don't even know the prayer. I'm just making up shit. Fucking really? I peek around into the bathroom. I see the most horrifying, gruesome, macabre shit I've ever seen in my life. I see my grandmother standing in front of the sink wearing those horrible orthopedic support compression stockings from the hospital. She's wearing those. And that's it. Choking up lungs. Titties banging in. And the worst part is I'm seeing this happen from the back. The longest, gnarliest titties banging off the saddest ass cheeks I've ever seen in my life. Every time they're swinging back around the front, they're grazing the sink. It sounds like a full court basketball game. For threes. From downtown. He's heating up. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, Grandma! I guess I scared her, startled her. She did a 180 and almost took me out with the titties. Who's that? I was drunk, but I moved quick. Like I said, one titty's just lower than the other one, so I had to matrix the first titty. I had enough time to get my timing down to double dutch the second one. Just dragging across the tile. Now she's just standing there looking at me. I'm like, Grandma, close the door.
I'm sorry, baby. Is the light bothering you?
Initially, no. But now that I'm looking at those illuminated fun bags, yeah, kill the lights. They're awful, like grapefruits and tube socks. You look like a pro hacky sack player every time you go up the steps. I did those jokes on TV. Don't clap, I'm gonna get in trouble. I already got in trouble for doing those on television one time. She saw me do those jokes. She cut, and I told her to watch. It was a huge mistake. And she called me the next day, and I just sent it to voicemail because I knew what it was about. I didn't want to hear it. I was in a good mood from the show. I was like, I'm not listening to this shit. Sent it to voicemail, and then later on that night, I listened to the voicemail, and it was enraging. It was like a minute of her yelling at me. And the worst part about her yelling at me about doing the jokes about her titties was that she leaves her name at the end of the voicemail. Like, I have no idea who the fuck it is. Like, it's the big reveal.
She was like, I saw your bullshit last night on TV. You talked about my titties for 20 goddamn minutes on national television. What the hell is wrong with you? I know you think everything is a joke, but this ain't no joke. These are my real titties and my real life. I told all my girls from church, my Bible study class to watch my grandson on TV. Now I can't go back to my Bible study classes. All my girlfriends will be talking about, here comes big, long titty Margaret coming. You talk about my titties for 20 goddamn minutes on national television. You need to knock that off, leave my titties in my blouse and not in your routine. And you better call me back and let me know you got this message. This is Grandma, by the way.
Followed by her signature hang up, which is another minute and a half of her trying to hang up the phone.
Call me back. This Grandma, by the way. Talking to herself, what the hell going on? My motherfucking